know, Kevin Levrone's haters have really taken it to another level. They're posting their negativity everywhere, from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter. I mean, who tweets negativity unless you're Donald Trump? You know what I mean? It's crazy. And what's mind-boggling to me is 3 days ago, I did an interview with NPC Mid-Atlantic Chairman Mr. Gary Udit. And the interview was here in Louisville, and he was going to do another posing clinic in Maryland. And seeing as Kevin is the Maryland Muscle Machine, I asked Gary, I said, you know, what are your thoughts on Kevin's return to the stage and his return to the Mr. Olympia? You know, and Gary said that if anyone could do it, it would be Kevin. And that's something that I believe. And I think that's something that most bodybuilding fans, real fans, not trolls, not haters, but real fans, would share in that opinion. But I think what happened with Kevin's return, from the moment that he announced, and I'm talking to you, Shawn Ray, you know, you're a legend, and you do a lot of great stuff with muscular development, and you're a, you know, a hero to many, and one of the most photographed bodybuilders in history, but you are a bit of a hater. And, you know, and it's not just Shawn. It's not just Shawn. There's a lot of other bodybuilders. Not everybody's entitled to an opinion. Okay, everybody's entitled to an opinion. I get that. And a lot of people are saying they're quote-unquote looking after Kevin's legacy. And no one's going to look after Kevin's legacy better than Kevin. And Kevin sought out the opinion of very high influential people. Not high people. Highly placed influential people. They weren't like, you know, high. But the point is that he feels that his physique is competitive. And this is something he wants to do. And my gosh, he gave so much to bodybuilding that if he wants to get back on stage, just because he wants to get back on stage, he has that right. And people should support him. But you have to understand that whenever someone gets hated on, and I hate to bring politics into this right now, like, you guys know I'm a huge Bernie Sanders supporter. Bernie Sanders just bought a summer house. Whatever, right? Nothing expensive, nothing extravagant. But everybody's hating on Bernie. Oh, Bernie sold out. You know, Bernie's not real. Bernie's this and that. Because they're scared of Bernie. Because they're scared that Bernie's going to transform the country. And all these bureaucrats are going to get elected out of office because of his movement. So they'll do anything to bury this guy and discredit this guy and make this guy seem like a kook and a nut job. Okay, so take that example and move it aside. Now let's talk about Kevin Levrone. Now, Kevin Levrone is a guy that scared, and I don't care what anybody says, scared Dorian Yates and scared Ronnie Coleman. Two of the greatest Mr. Olympias that ever lived, that ever walked the earth. Two of the biggest freaks, by the way. And he pushed them to the limit. These guys could not bring anything less than 100%, or Kevin, the Maryland Muscle Machine, would take their Sandow home. So, Kevin has the physique. Kevin knows how to dial it in. Kevin is a guy from the 90s that used to bring that conditioning that, unfortunately, some of the guys nowadays just cannot hit. They cannot hit that level of conditioning. He knows how to pose better than anyone else. He's a crowd favorite. I mean, think about it. Because we've got guys now that are great posers, but they don't get the crowd. You know, they're great posers, but they're not like, they don't have sort of that crazy fan adulation. I mean, back in the day, there were guys that were, you know, huge people's champions, or huge with the people, like Marcus Rule and, I'm sorry, but Craig Titus and King Kamali. I mean, people that the people just really liked, but that just, you know, maybe we're not good enough to win the big show. Kevin's got, you know, the aesthetics. I would put Kevin's aesthetics up there with, my gosh, Shawn Rhoden. I'd put him up there with Melvin Anthony. I'd put him up there even with Shawn Ray. I mean, he's got the aesthetics. He's got the balance. Okay, he's got the symmetry. He can come in conditioned. He knows how to pose. The people go nuts for him. You know, he was on a bunch of magazine covers, won a bunch of titles, is known worldwide, you know, was in a band, was in the movies. I mean, so, I mean, if you think about it, if you think about what you would want in a Mr. Olympia, aside from the physique, aside from, you know, the positive role model, but you look at Kevin, what Kevin has done outside or off the stage, would be great for Mr. Olympia. I mean, he would be a phenomenal ambassador. He would be an ambassador that, like I said, has done movies, has done commercials, you know, is known worldwide, has a crazy legacy, has so many magazine covers through so many different eras of the sport that his name actually is a brand. Okay? So, and his likeness. I mean, you know, here is a real test of whether someone is in fact a legend or whether someone is in fact popular. Put their face on a picture. Do not put their names, and put nothing else, and see how many people can put a name to that face. And I'm telling you, you do that in bodybuilding circles, and not even bodybuilding circles, like I said, in some music circles, in some acting circles, and people will be able to say, that's Kevin Levrone. What would be even better is if they didn't know it was Kevin Levrone and said, that's the Maryland Muscle Machine, because then that would be like a branding coup. So, you know, I think that the haters out there are hating on Kevin because of the fact that he presents such a big risk to the establishment of bodybuilding. Now, that does not mean the IFBB and PC. The establishment meaning the sort of pecking order of champions. Like, we know that Phil Heath is #1, and we know that Kai Green is #2 when he shows up. We know that Dexter Jackson is 2 or 3, depending on Kai, depending on Dexter, depending on Phil. We know that Shawn Rhoden and Dennis Wolf, depending on when they show up, they're either 3 or 4, depending on their conditioning. We know that Big Ramy is never going to be Mr. Olympia, but he's just so big, and we have no idea what, you know, they have in the UAE creatine powders to make him as big as he is. We know he's probably going to be in that 4 or 5, maybe 6 position. We know these things. What we don't know is Kevin Levrone. We don't know Kevin Levrone in 2016. We don't know what Kevin Levrone is capable of in 2016. We don't know if Kevin Levrone is going to be an honorable 7th place, or if he's going to be 6th place, or he's going to be 5th place and in the mix and scaring the crap out of 1st and 2nd. Or we don't know if he's going to come up and be #1. I think the craziest thing would be if Kevin Levrone came back and was in that 3-4 spot, because that would be a guarantee that the next year it'd be lights out. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Kai. Thanks, Dexter. Enjoy being 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because Kevin's coming back and he's going to win the whole damn thing. That's if he took 3rd or 4th this year. But he could even win the whole thing this year. So, let me tell you something. When I see these people attacking him, that's what I think. But it bothers me because, you know, you know, from the beginning, I mean, from the day that Kevin announced his comeback in Pittsburgh, I was there at Jim Manning's MPC and IFBB Pittsburgh Championships. It started there. You know, and I don't want to attack Shawn Ray because, again, Shawn Ray's a legend, just like Kevin Levrone. Endless magazine covers. Actually, I think Shawn might have had more. Shawn was like one of the most photographed bodybuilders in all of history. Amazing titles. You know, recognition around the world. I mean, but Shawn doesn't have the moniker. Like, you know, Kevin's got the Maryland Muscle Machine. I don't know what Shawn's would be. Shawn Ray. Sugar Shawn Ray, maybe? I don't know. But that's not like the Maryland Muscle Machine. Maryland Muscle Machine is like one of the coolest bodybuilding branding names ever. So, I mean, I can't even think of one right now. So basically, you know, Shawn at the Pittsburgh Championships started with the haterism, you know, and it even got to the point where it seems that Kevin dodged them a couple times for an interview because I think Kevin could, you know, kind of see what was going on, you know, and I'm not really sure. I mean, you know, people like Shawn and other, you know, legends like that say that they are trying to protect Kevin Levrone's legacy. No one's going to protect Kevin Levrone's legacy better than Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone is making this comeback because he has the, you know, confidence and he has the word of people that he trusts and respects, and because he knows that he can dial it in. And trust me, if he didn't think he could win the show, I don't think he'd be doing it. Now, I've also had some issues with Kevin, I was, but just in the sense that I had sent him some messages over the years and I never got a response, or over the months, I should say. And he was very gracious. He came on one of my YouTube videos and said, hey, listen, you know, I wasn't the one checking those messages. I apologize. Let's bury whatever we have between us and, you know, let's move forward. And I think that's huge. I think it's huge that he would even care what I had to say, and not only care, but actually leave a public comment. He could have, you know, called Dave Palumbo and texted me or called me on the phone. He could have, sent me an inbox on Facebook, but instead he put out a public message for all to see. And that, you know, I got to say, that speaks volumes of him. I mean, it's a very, very classy dude. So, classy dude. But you know what I'm saying? So, you know, try to, I guess my message to bodybuilding fans, well, a real bodybuilding fan is not going to trash on Kevin Levrone. So I guess my message to bodybuilding trolls and jerks and keyboard warriors is this. Don't formulate your opinion based off of what Shawn Ray or anyone else says. Look at the body of work. Look at the titles that Kevin has amassed. Look at the physiques that he has brought over the years. Look at his success with his band Full Blown. Look at his work in movies. Take all of that in. And then ask yourself, would Kevin walk away from the music business and Hollywood to make a comeback, to place dead last, or to look off, or to embarrass himself? If you think the answer is yes, then you're just a fucking idiot, and I don't even know why I'm talking to you.